हरे कृष्ण। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। हरे कृष्ण. So we'll continue our discussion.
So we are discussing how the mercy of Lord is manifested, and here some nice instructions are there. We'll just do just the revision part. So here the further dynasty of Dhruva Maharaj is explained, and when Narada told when Maitreya says that Narada was glorifying about Dhruva Maharaj and Pracheta's assembly. So he wanted to know more about the dynasties. So there he says that then he starts explaining about the dynasty of Dhruva. In that comes King Anga. He says Anga, he could not have children. He had a child, but then later on he was cursed by the Brahmanas and Anga went to the forest. So he wanted to know more. And then he says that Anga was performing a great sacrifice, which is not an ordinary performance. Sacrifice which is oriented for giving benefit for the entire society. So we discussed yajna, the concept of yajna is gratitude. We have to be grateful and acknowledge whatever we are getting, the sunlight, moon, water, and that is the system which Lord has arranged. Just be grateful, then you can enjoy, not a problem. Just acknowledge. That much only is given. Don't be ungrateful, be respectful, understand the subtlety of this metal nature, and act accordingly. So, that is the purpose of this sacrifice. And that's all. Just by acknowledging whatever we are getting, we can enjoy in this world properly, legally, and you don't get bored also in this material world. Still, people are even that much acknowledgement, also, people are not ready to do. What can be done? And the Vedic mantras, the problem with the Vedic mantras is only one problem, that they are very uh, the pronunciation and everything should be done very meticulously. And but Hare Krishna Mahamantra we can get full benefit. Pronunciation is not a problem. And the paraphernalia should be pure. That means for us also the pure things are we should have good faith, proper care and attention, and we should not pollute our mind. Then only our chanting will have that quality. And then we discuss that we should not commit any offenses. We should maintain purity and follow the rules and regulations. Then Lord will accept our service and sacrifice. And we also discussed that Seva Aprad, Radha Krishna deity will not accept offering from such devotees. And when Maitreya said that when demigods were not coming to accept, then he asked the reason. Then Maitreya said that before asking, talking, Anga asked permission. Okay, I'll not. Can I start speaking? So we should maintain silence when yajna. For us also, every day we are doing yajna. So we should also maintain a silence. What is the silence? No kajalpa. Simple. And then our yajna, everyday yajna, it's Anga was doing that time, but for us it is everyday yajna. So quality of yajna is proportionate to how much our mind is pure, and that is proportionate to prajalpa we are doing, like that. And only when accepted by demigod sacrifice is complete. That means we should properly serve the Vaishnavas, then only Lord will be pleased. So when Lord is satisfied, our heart is cleansed. Yeah, actually, when devotee asked this question, I forgot to reply. So Lord is satisfied, then only heart will be clean. So we are making an endeavor. Actually, cleaning of the heart is done by Lord only. It is not possible by our endeavor. Cleaning of heart is done by Lord. But Lord want to see how much we are making that endeavor. It is not in our hand. It's Lord only personally cleanses the heart. But when He will cleanse, when we see that we are making a proper endeavor. That's what, like, no, we tell in Damadilil also. Our endeavor and Lord's mercy. What is Lord's mercy? Lord's mercy is He is cleaning the heart. He will make sure that all our anarthas are going away. Like, we are struggling with so many anarthas and attachments. On our own, we cannot get rid of it. It is not possible. We are only waiting for the mercy of Lord. Lord, please help me to come out of it. And Lord says, okay, okay. And He just want to know whether we are serious about it. Say somebody is so much attached to uh, some bad habit. He has so much very conditioning of overeating, or he is always commenting, criticizing, and he want to come out of it. Then if he prays to the Lord, Lord helps. But only Lord will only help. Nobody can help. But it takes time. He should see our purity. So we should please the Lord. We serve the Vaishnavas. We make so many endeavors. So then this cleansing of the heart takes place. And how we know it cleansed? We will know we will become more peaceful, blissful, and we feel light at heart. That is the best thing that happens. No filters are there in the heart. All the filters are the blockages. Like in the heart, there will be some blockages. And what they do, they put stents or they try to make the blood thin. All these methods they use. We have to remove the blockages, then the blood will flow properly. Similarly, for us also, there are so many blockages which are holding us and which cause the cardiac arrest and the person dies. For us also, the same thing is happening. We have to give up our blockages, all these anarthas, unwanted things we are holding. Our attachments are actually basically which are holding us, and we don't want to give up anarthas. And so here then the priest said that no, in this life you didn't do anything wrong, but in previous life you did wrong. So that is the reason you are getting the punishment. So karma is a punishment. And Prabhupada says that if a person does not get a son, it is due to his past sinful life. And now then the important point is that demigods, they don't show support, no sympathy. They just do, they are very calculated. Calculated in the sense they don't have power also. There is no jurisdiction for them. Whatever you do, that much only they can give. They cannot do more than that. And they don't have power to um, manipulate. They don't remove the karma. They can change little bit here and there, but they cannot completely. Only Krishna can do. And they don't interfere. Somebody is sinful, they say, okay, let him suffer like that. But Krishna, he accepts, no matter whoever you are. Like when it comes to demigods, you do whatever is required to please them, that then only they can help. For Krishna, it does not matter. For Krishna, you go on one time you say, I'm surrendered. Krishna says, okay, I'll remove all your sinful reactions. So that is the advantage with Krishna. Demigods, you go and say, oh, I surrender to you. They say, okay, you surrendered, but there is a procedure. You have to do this yajna, this puja, this. Then only I can do something for you. Otherwise, I cannot do. You have to pay for it. For Krishna, payment is, I say, Krishna, I surrender. I don't know anything other than this. I don't know any mantras. I don't know any yajnas. I don't know anything. Krishna says, no, no problem. Just chant Hare Krishna. Rest I will take care. Demigods cannot do like that. You need to follow all the procedures for them, all the proper pujas, mantras, and then they can give the benediction. So, in that way, it is not very simple also. People feel that demigod give very fast blessings, but you follow the procedure. Krishna, no. Even one time, fully with the heart, we say surrender. Krishna says yes, yes. Sarva dharman parityadya mamekam sharan. Aham tam sarva papebhyo. So this is that's why the priest says, okay, better go. Mhm. And demigods don't associate with people who are very sinful. And here also we see they don't want to come. But Lord will accept. Even whatever sinful we are, because Lord is Father. Demigods are not like that. And then he says that the performance of sacrifice under Karmakanda activities achieves the fulfillment of desires from which he worships the Lord. The Bhagavad Gita Lord says that he awards benedictions to the worshippers according to his desires. So here you see it is very clear here. The performance of sacrifice under Karmakanda activity achieve the fulfillment of desires for which he worships the Lord. So Lord says that he awards benedictions to the worshippers according to his desires. Supreme Lord gives all living entities conditioned within material world full freedom to act on their own. But to his devotees, he says that instead of working in that way, it is better surrender. So no need of all these big things. Of course, that time in the previous ages, that is the way to please the Lord. But now no need to worry. This is just surrender, for he will take charge of the devotees. That is the difference between a devotee and a fruitive actor. So we, instead of going for a fruitive activities and trying to do this pujas and all these things for demigods, better surrender to Lord and get things done properly. And that's the way. The fruitive actor enjoy only the fruits of his own activity, but a devotee, being under the guidance of Supreme Lord, simply advances in devotional service to achieve the ultimate goal of life, to go back, come back to God. The significant word in this verse is kamana, which means sense gratificatory desire. A devotee is devoid of all karma. His anyabhilashita shunya. His only aim is to satisfy the sense of Supreme Lord. And thus, for the sake of a son, King Anga, they decided to offer oblations to Lord Vishnu, who is situated in the heart of all living entities. So here, the same again, Prabhupada is many times he explained that according to sacrificial rituals, animals are sometimes sacrificed in the yajna not to kill them but to give new life. Such actions was an experiment to observe the Vedic mantras. Sometimes small animals are killed in the medical laboratories. So, but animals are not revived, but in the yajna, the animals were sacrificed. They were again given life in uh, the this way. And then, as soon as the oblations was offered to the fire, a person appeared from the fire altar wearing a golden garland and a white dress. He was carrying a golden pot filled with rice boiled in milk. So he brought some maybe boiled sweet rice. The king then was very liberal, and after taking permission from the feast, he took the preparations in his joint palms, and after smelling it, he offered a portion to his wife. And now, very clearly, Prabhupada says that this is the arrangement by the Lord. In order to increase his detachment from the material world, willed that a cruel son be born to the queen so that the king would have to leave home. So very clearly it is told that the purpose of Lord's doing it is to help King Anga to come to him, the spiritual world. That's the only reason. And the Lord gives the devotee opportunity to make progress further and further so that he may come back home, back to Godhead. Although the queen had no son, after eating that food, which had the power to produce a male child, she became pregnant by her husband. In due course of time, she gave birth to a son. And then Lord special mercy to Anga. This boy was born practically in the dynasty of irreligion. His grandfather was death personified, and the boy grew up as his followers. He became a greatly irreligious person. So even though the actually three parts are there in our karma, if we see, we'll put it here, three parts of karma. So first is from the previous life. Second is for first 4 to 5 years of childhood. And the third part is present association. Actually, this somebody's having very strong of this previous lives, then if the first 4 years are nicely taken care, then it will be easy for him to overcome this effect. But it is too bad for Vena. So even though he had a good sanskaras and good father and everything, but somehow because of this part, he continued to remain a demon only. Directly demon is born. And then what happens is, if this is demoniac, then he will start associating with such people only. Or rather, he will give his association to others. Others will become demons in his association. And we can see also in childhood only, from childhood only, there will be some boys who are bullying others, and then there are other people who learn from him. Like that. So here we see that even though he had a good thing, but somehow his sanskara is very bad. Prabhupada writing, the child's mother, Suniti, was the daughter of death personified. Generally, the daughter received the qualification of her fathers. So, daughter receives the qualification of her father, and the sons acquires those of the mother. So, according to the axiomatic truth, the things equal to the same are equal to one. The child born of King Anga became the follower of his maternal grandfather. According to Smriti Shastra, a child generally follows the principle of his maternal uncle's house. Nanam Matula Karma means the child generally knows the qualities of maternal family. In the maternal family is very corrupt or sinful, the child, even though born of a good father, becomes a victim of maternal family. So, according to Vedic, therefore, before marriage takes place, an account is taken of both the boys and girls family. If according to astrological calculation, the combination is perfect, then marriage takes place. Sometimes, however, there is a mistake and family life becomes frustrating. So this is very important. They just check the background, what type of family the girl is coming, boy is coming, and then only they go for marriage. Why? Because they will not only just good money and all, they also bring the qualities of the family. So that is very important. If you don't go for a good family, then there is always a risk of getting something bad. And if there is another thing, like if say brother committed mistake, boy of the family committed some very big blunder, then the sister to get her married becomes difficult. People say, oh, if brother is like this, what sister will do? So it has immediately that effect on the marriage. It is actually very important. Boys, if the brother is a murderer, then the sister will not get married so easily. They will, whole family will be taken into count, right? Like that. So it appears that King Angai did not uh, gradually, due to family circumstance, devotee becomes detached from his wife and home and makes progress. Get a very good wife in Suniti because she was the daughter of death personified. So he did not get. Sometimes the Lord arranges an unfortunate wife for his devotees so that in devotional life it appears that by the arrangement of Supreme Lord, King Anga, although a pious devotee, got an unfortunate wife. So this is the arrangement of Lord. He got an unfortunate wife. Get an unfortunate wife like Suniti and later on bad child like Vena. But the result was that he got complete freedom from the entanglement of family life and left home. So if end is good, it is said everything is good. So what happened to Anga is, of course, sometimes it happens in a good way, sometimes in a bad way. Like you have Rishabhadev, he's going very nice. Uttanapada, he left home, but he got a good son. So some people get good sons, still they live, like Kardamuni. Wife is a great devotee, son is Supreme Lord. He went to forest. Here Anga, wife is not so good, and son is the biggest demon. And Anga went to forest. So the end result in both cases is same only. So Lord can accomplish by, for Kardamuni he gave good wife and good son. For Anga he gave bad wife and bad son. So because Lord can do the same thing, the purpose is accomplished. So for Kardama, good wife, good son. For Anga, bad wife, bad son. But ultimately, both left home. So this is actually what is important. That end result is accomplished by the Lord. So in both cases, Lord knows how to whom to give what and help him to get out of this metal entanglement. After fixing his bow and arrow, the cruel boy used to go to the forest and unnecessarily kill innocent deer. And as soon as he came, all the people would cry, "Here comes cruel Vena! Here comes cruel Vena!" And Prabhupada and Kshatriyas allowed to hunt in the forest for the purpose of learning the killing art, not to kill animals for eating or any other purpose. The Kshatriya kings are sometimes expected to cut off the head of culprit in the state. For this reason, the Kshatriyas were allowed to hunt in the forest. And because this son of King Vena, Anga Vena, was born of a bad mother, he was very cruel and used to go to the forest and unnecessarily kill animals. All the neighborhood inhabitants would be frightened by his presence and they would call, "Here comes Vena, here comes Vena." So the beginning of his life was fearful to the citizens. Very cruel person. If you have power, it's more dangerous. The boy was so cruel that by playing with young boys of his age, he would kill them very mercilessly, as if they were animals meant for slaughter. Can you imagine what a humiliation for Anga? People are coming and complaining, "Your son killed my son." So no, Anga cannot bear only. After seeing the cruel and merciless behavior of his son, Vena, son Vena, King Anga punished him different ways to reform him, but was unable to bring him to the path of gentleness. That he thus became greatly aggrieved. So, for some people, Lord makes them go through such painful situations to bring him. Uh, uh, Anga's mother name is given here. Her name is Sunita. Anga's wife name is Sunita. So the king thought to himself, so then persons who have no sons are certainly fortunate. They must have worshipped the Lord in the previous life so that they would not have to suffer the unbearable happiness of caused by a bad son. This is actually what happens, na? We always have this tendency. What is that? We have bhoga and tyaga. Bhoga tyaga tendency. Bhoga tyaga tendency is what? I enjoy, then I once I get frustrated with enjoyment, then I renounce. So this type of renunciation comes when suffering comes. So when I am enjoying, I say, "Oh, everything is nice." Suffering comes in life, then we start renouncing. "Oh, this material world is bad." Now King Anga, he was everything was going good, but when suffering came, he said, "Oh no, no, this is bad." But he is a devotee. He just did not renounce like that. He got more realization. So this type of unhappiness comes for many people. I have seen also one of my aunties. She used to curse her son regularly in front of me many times. She used to say, "Better you die." He was so mischievous, so bad actually. He really tortured. She used to think, "Arey, better you die so that we can live peacefully." And we'll cry for 1 2 days and then later on our life is peaceful. And that fellow died also. He really was very actually even the curse of mother worked, I felt. Here also the Brahmanas are cursing, and that is going to affect King Anga, sorry, Vena. So the curse affects the pain what they went through because of him, it reduced his lifespan. Poor fellow. Here also Vena's lifespan is reducing. So anyway, but here the point what I want to tell is that king, uh, he was getting this renunciation slowly, slowly. He said, "Oh, better not to have the son." Previously, he was unhappy that he didn't have a son. Then he thought, no, having a son is such a dangerous thing. Like people get this realization. I think every family person will get, oh, why did I marry? All this headache. Sometimes wife will think, sometimes husband will think, better not to marry. This type of realization comes, but it is not serious realization. But once things go nice, then everything is normal only. I have seen some people show so much renunciation, say yes, 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 and next day they are normal. Then they are because this Bhoga Tyaga cycle goes in this mental world. But here Anga got this Tyaga, but this is but they didn't have any hope only. There is no other side for him. Again, go back when things become normal. For Anga, it didn't become normal. So it was special mercy. So what happens in family life is you get frustrated and then there are some other sense gratification comes. Then you have children. Children are good. Okay, husband is not good. At least children are good. I'll manage with them. And sometimes children are not good. Husband is good. Okay, we'll manage with them. So something or other, some pleasure is kept in this metal world. Again, our bhoga cycle starts. Again, frustration comes, tyaga cycle comes. So, bhoga tyaga is a natural phenomena here. Here, but it didn't happen for King Anga, fortunately. Why? Because there is nothing to bhoga only. Everything was suffering only. A sinful son causes a person's reputation to vanish, he says. His religious activities at home cause irreligion and quarrel among everyone and thus create only endless anxiety. So, bad son is suffering. Like uh, sometimes the argument comes that, okay, no, what if I marry and no, I don't get a good partner? So, what in that case? So, why to take risk? Better stay alone. But that won't work like this. This is very important. Why to have children? If we get children like Vena, what will we do? Why to marry? If I get a wife like Sunita, or if I get a husband like Vena, so why to marry? Why to marry such a partner, right? But we still have to do it because we have to come out of our karma vasanas. That is the reason marriage should happen. Not that I'll get something out of it. No, we will come out of, we need to get purified. That's why you need to go through the process of marriage. It's a responsibility, it's not a choice. Marriage is a responsibility. People have to do it so that they can come out of condition. Nowadays, now people are not taking that responsibility. They say, no, I will stay alone. But you still have that sanskaras. So that will make you again take birth, again get cleared. Otherwise, it is not possible. Of course, somebody very, very seriously doing bhakti and they are not getting affected by these things, if they are in brahmacharya ashram or if some matajis they stay alone, then there is no problem. They should take responsibility of that ashram properly. They should focus whole life in hearing, chanting, reading, and doing bhakti, then they can come out of that condition. Otherwise, not possible. So, here, very important thing to understand is marriage is responsibility. Marriage, children is responsibility, not choice. It's not choice. It is responsibility. Why? To overcome karma. If you don't do it, then we will be entangled more and more. But if somebody is doing bhakti full time, he can be exempted. Why? If he is doing bhakti full time, he can be exempted because his karma vasanas are very less. That's the reason. He will not have problem. Then only he can do full time bhakti. If he has very strong karma vasanas, he cannot do full time bhakti. He has to go through marriage and children. If you don't take this responsibility and he has very strong karma vasanas and he comes for bhakti full time, he will commit sinful activities. That is the point. Hope you understood what I want to tell. I didn't confuse. Gail Mate is clear. Gail Mataji understood means everybody understood. She will. Who, if is considered the intelligent, who desires such a worthless son? Such a son is nothing but a bond of illusion for the living entity, and he makes one's home miserable. Uh, so, like, anyway, who is he considered the intelligent? No, sir, considerate and intelligent. Who, if he is considerate and intelligent, who desires such a worthless son? So it is, if you have that, you have to go through it. King Anga went through that process, got nicely purified, then he got enlightenment. So this is the most, what this shloka is very important. Such a son is nothing but a bond of illusion for the living entity and makes one's home miserable. So this enlightenment, what made a difference? So many people suffer, but they don't get an enlightenment. Many people suffer, but no enlightenment. Why? Why this happens is because they are not doing pious activities. If a person is very pious and then if he goes through certain sufferings, he get realizations. Otherwise, he become agnostic. Sometimes atheist also. And this happened to uh, there is very famous Christian priest. His son got a very terrible disease and died at a very small age. Then immediately he became atheist. He was so. Of course, we may say he's a pious person, but still, its piety was not sufficient. We should have good association and piety. Then only we can overcome. Because problems are there in everyone. Like one people speak these things. That they say that if house there are house means there will be problems. If there are no problems in the house, that means it's a temple. So in temple, there are no problems. In house, there are problems. So if you want your house not to have problems, then make it into a temple. This is a very nice formula. Why? Because the center is Krishna. That's why no problems. Because in house, the center is our own egos. That's why we have problems. In temple, the center is Krishna. Of course, now people may argue, Prabhuji, in temple also there are so many problems. The devotees fight there. No. In temple, as long as you don't keep our egos in between, there is no problem there also. There are no politics. But when the ego comes, then only problem. Then you are converting temple into home. Like that. And then the king thought, no, 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 no. A bad son is better than a good son because a good son creates an attachment for home, whereas bad son does not. A bad son creates a hellish home from which an intelligent man naturally becomes very easily detached. This is Anga's realization, but it is not actually absolute statement because if you take Kardamuni, he has a good son only, and that helped him to come out. So it's a realization for some people, it applicable for some people, not everyone. So it is said the king began to think in terms of attachment and detachment from one's material home. According to Prahlad Maharaj, the material home is compared to blind well. If a man falls down into the blind well of home life as soon as possible, sorry, it is very difficult to get out of it and begin life again. Prahlad Maharaj has advised that one give up this blind well of home life as soon as possible and go to the forest to take shelter of Supreme Personality of God. According to Vedic civilization, this giving up of home by Vanaprastha and Sannyasi is compulsory. But people are so attached to their homes that even up to the point of that they do not like to retire from home life. King Anga therefore thinks in terms of detachment, accept his bad son as good impetus for detachment from home. He therefore considered the bad son for his friend, since he was helping him become detached from his home. Ultimately, one has to learn how to detach oneself from the attachment of material life. Therefore, a bad son, by his bad behavior, helps a householder to get away from his home. It is a boon. Prabhupada's father also said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada wanted to marry second time. Prabhupada's father said, no, 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 no. Better to have such wife. You'll be detached. And Prabhupada could not marry second time. He didn't like his wife. His father said, that's good only. You'll get detached. So here also same thing. Anga is telling, bad wife, good wife, bad husband, good bad wife. Both are good only in one way. If the result is good, ultimately it is good. So it's not a problem actually. Anything is good only. Only thing is how we look at it. I'll just see. I'll tell the story because we have little time. So what happens is Narada Muni goes to Lord Vishnu, and when he says, I want to see your Maya, Lord says, no, you are blame yourself. I say, no, 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 you show me. Lord says, okay, let us go. He takes him to a desert. And suddenly Lord says, I am feeling very thirsty. And Narada Muni sees in distance there is some village. He says, wait here. I'll get some water for you. So he goes to that village and he knocks one door. A very beautiful looking young girl opens the door. And Narada says, I want some water. She says, oh, please come in. And Martha Muni sits and she gives him nice water. And the girl's father was also there. He said, okay, have some, eat something. And Narada said, yeah, yeah, I can eat something. He says, you rest for some. And Narada took rest in the evening. Again, they feed him. And they say, you stay overnight. And Narada is completely absorbed. And he stays 2, 3 days, 1 week. And then they say, why don't you marry my daughter? Nath Muni said, yeah, I was thinking about it. And then he marries a daughter and he gets some land, he becomes little landlord, he makes a house, he starts cultivating, he gets a son. He was so attached to the son was so beautiful. Then he gets a very cute daughter. And Narada Muni keeps the daughter to the chest and he's so nicely caressing and enjoying. And then suddenly some disease comes, his father-in-law dies, and then there was a big, huge rain, and there was some flood-like situation, and his wife she got drowned in that water in a flood, and he starts lamenting, and the flood further increases, and his son also, he could not protect his son, and at last his most favorite daughter, She also drowns and dies. Narada is lamenting, 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 and then whole rain subsides, and then everything becomes normal. And then again the desert situation, and Narada starts crying and walking, and he sees the Lord. And Narada is so sad that he lost his son, he lost his wife, and daughter, and everything, all his property, house. And then Lord says, "Oh Narada, where have you been? Such a long time. I was waiting for you for water." Narada says, and then Narada comes to his normal state, and he understood. My God, such a big Maya. I'm supposed to serve the Lord, and I got caught up with all these things. This is actually situation for all of us. We are actually supposed to serve Krishna, but somehow we get caught up with all this mess around, and then we don't know what to do also. Sometimes we are just, you know, we suffer very badly. This is the state. And then somebody who comes out of it, he is very fortunate. So, thinking like that, King Anga could not sleep at night. He became completely indifferent to household life. Once, therefore, in the dead of night, he got up from his bed, left Vena's mother, his wife, who was sleeping deeply. He gave up all attraction for his greatly opulent kingdom, and unseen by anyone, he very silently gave up his home and opulence and proceeded towards the forest. In this verse, the word Mahodayodayat indicate that the blessing of great soul, one becomes materially opulent. But when one gives up the attachment to material wealth, that should be considered that even greater blessings from the great souls. So we have to very clearly understand we are living in a big illusion. All this, my family, my house, mother, sister, wife, children, daughter, grandchildren, all these things are illusion. This is not reality. We have to serve Krishna. That is reality. And no, such stories should give some inspiration for us. Yes, I should also. It is not very easy task for the king to give up his opulent kingdom and young faithful wife, but it was certainly a great blessing of Supreme Lord. You see, his wife is very faithful, very good, means at least very faithful. But he said he got detached from her. That is a blessing of Supreme Lord. That he could give up the attachment and go to the forest without being seen by anyone. There are many instances of great souls living home in this way in the dead of night, giving up attachment to home, wife, and money. When it was understood that the king had indifferently left home, all the citizens, priests, ministers, friends, and people in general were greatly aggrieved. They began to search for him all over the world, just as a less experienced mystic searches unto the super soul within. And Prabhupada writes the absolute truth is understood in three different stages: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And such yogis or less intelligent mystic can, by mental speculation, reach the point of impersonal Brahman. They cannot find super soul. So that is not possible. When the king left, it was certain that he was staying somewhere else. But because the citizens did not know how to find him, they were frustrated like a less intelligent mystic. So he was a very good person. They wanted him to come back, but somehow he is fortunate. He could give it up. So why this is so much glorified? We see Vedic culture, Vedic Shastras, they glorify renunciation because ultimate purpose of life is to renounce this world only. That's why. When the citizens could not find any trace of the king after searching for him everywhere, they were very disappointed and they returned to the city where all the great sages of the country assembled because of king's absence. With tears in their eyes, the citizens offered respectful obeisances and informed the sages in full detail that they were unable to find the king anywhere. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of the fourth canto, 13th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Descriptions of the Dynasty of Dhruv Maharaj. So this is end of this chapter. Of course, very, very good lessons are there. Here also this, no, he could successfully leave home. King Anga left home. So this is very great achievement. It is not possible for anyone. People sometimes they say, "Oh, I want to renounce everything," but that type of renunciation is not because of knowledge. It is because of frustration. So Anga got frustrated, but he got enlightened also. That is the most important point. People are frustrated, but they were not enlightened. We discussed also, right? So that is the reason he could give up. And he gave in proper knowledge. There are people I know who left home, who gave up their wife and children, and they are diverse and other things. That is not actually renunciation. Of course, if they are doing devotion and renunciation, that is a different thing. Like Prabhupada, he said that hippies, they're already renounced. They gave up all family, everything. Only thing they just have to add Krishna in their life and they are perfect yogis because they are already renounced the world. So that is not the, of course, Prabhupada gave them nice benefit in that way. Yeah. So any questions, comments? We'll end here. Thank you all very much. Nantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.